these stats right here are from the Florida state records. These are from 2015. Now, before you go, oh, Roll, that's from 2015. Track with me here for a second. The state of Florida records a reason for every abortion that occurs within its borders each year. In 2015, there were 71,740 abortions in the state of Florida. This table lists the reasons and the percentage of abortions that occurred because of it. Now, track with me. This is 2015. Okay. I'll let you look at the numbers there. I'm just going to read the reasons here. Pregnancy resulted from an incestuous relationship, like 0.001%. The woman's life was endangered by the pregnancy. It goes up a little bit. The woman was EPAR'd a little bit more. Remember that number, by the way, 0.85%. That is a fraction of, that's not even, that's like 8 and 1/2. It's a fraction of 1%. A fraction of 1%. The woman's life was endangered by the pregnancy, and the woman was EPAR'd. Those ones right there. Okay, those, I would say those are legitimate reasons maybe to want to have an abortion. Got it. But when women say, well, what if the woman was raped? Okay, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at let's be pragmatic. Let's be logistical here. Let's look at these numbers. The woman's physical health was threatened by the pregnancy. Now it goes up just a little bit, but it is still not even 1%. There was a fetal abnormality, which is 0.66%. Still not even 1%. The woman aborted for social and economic reasons, 6.268%, and no reason, elective, 92.33%. Those are the numbers from 2015. There you go, black and white. Now, Rollo, why are you showing us these numbers from Florida? Because in Florida is one of the few states that actually tracks this stuff. You can't go find this in certainly not in blue states. That's for damn sure. We want to talk about privacy. We want to make sure that, it doesn't matter why she's having it. It's just, she just does it. You don't have a seat at the table. Well, in Florida, they're just savvy enough. And remember, this is pre-DeSantis era, right? But they still have the savvy enough to say, well, if you're going to have an abortion, at the very least, you got to tell us why you're going to have the abortion. That was 2015. Oh, here's some new stats here. And I don't know if you can see these well enough, so I'm just going to see if I can read them for you while I am here. Okay, there we go. Now, this is from 2021. Now we're coming back up to speed. Again, Florida, because it's very difficult to find any of these stats anywhere else. Elective abortions, 59,252. The total, by the way, is 79,811 is what that says down there at the bottom. And then I thought this was interesting. First trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. Thank God there is no third trimester. There's 0 third trimester abortions. Got it. Again, abortion performed due to rape, 118 out of 79,811. I don't know I wish they would have gave you the percentage of that. But still, fraction of 1%. Got it? Okay. Abortion performed for incest, only 8 of those. Abortion for serious fetal and genetics. Anyways, you can see all of these things here. Now, when I put these up on Twitter not too long ago, I had people saying, well, Rollo, a lot of those stats, and I'll put these other ones back. Let me put this back up here. A lot of these reasons are all elective if you think about it. No reason, elective. Okay, so they said no reason. They're doing it just to do it. The woman aborted for a social or economic reason. So you could technically take that 6.268% and lump that in with no reason right there, because if they are elective and they are just simply doing it, now you're looking at 98, almost 90, 98 and a half, little over 98.5% of abortions are elective. What does that tell you about the latent function of abortion? What does that say? Oh, she should have a right to choose and just should. Okay, remove. Well, again, you don't need to resort to morality. You don't need to resort to, leftist emotionalism. Look at the numbers. What's the function? The function is to absolve women of bad reproductive choices. When you look at stuff like this, Nice little celebrity. Now, this is from 2019. This is just post midterm elections in 2018, right? Abortion activists. We should celebrate abortions like we celebrate babies with baby showers. Okay. Does that mean I have to do a mock abortion in front of a Catholic church? It seems like abortion activists are getting more brazen in pushing their agenda to normalize and celebrate abortion every day. As I was saying, this is not a new, we're not just pulling this out of our ass. It's not just some magical thing. I should also point out this as well. Where did it go? Where is my good friend Elizabeth Warren? Oh, anyways, Elizabeth Warren was losing her shit about this. Do I have that? I thought I did. My bad. Elizabeth Warren, of course, is losing her shit. It's about privacy. And I think I saw Karen Gillibrand, senator. I think she's a senator, talking about the same thing. Well, the fact that the Supreme Court would even go and do an opinion of this is just troubling, blah, blah, blah. They really want to overturn Roe v. Wade, which is, of course, the fear that they want to stoke amongst American females right now. Also, remember this, that women decide votes. Women decide who's going to be the president. Women decide who's going to be getting women out there. Women are the largest voting bloc in the United States. And this is particular to here in this country. It might not be in whatever country you're in, but women decide elections in this country and have done so consistently, really, since I would say, well, certainly post-sexual revolution. But once women were allowed the right to vote in 1920, the women became an increasingly larger and larger voting bloc. Okay. How do we get women to the polls? Scare them. It's the same story. What is it? Feed them fear and sell them security. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. When you look at just the freak out job that's happening with, like, say, Elizabeth Warren? It's like she's the only one Kamala Harris was talking about this as well. They're all piling on. This is the plan. This is what they're going to ride into freaking November. I guarantee you they will. And I also want to say that it comes in simultaneously at the same time that we're looking at, where is it? There it is. This was from Elizabeth. And this was on March 24th. So this is before the Supreme Court document leak. By the way, there was no vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. It was a draft opinion that was leaked. There was no vote. There's nothing final about it. It was an opinion that got leaked to the press. And I would argue probably because they needed a narrative to ride into November. Okay. Elizabeth Warren. This was on March 24th, 2022. Women owe over 2/3 of student debt. Canceling student debt would help give millions of women a fair shot at a business. Well, what about the 1/3 of guys who also have that as well? So a fair shot at starting a business, saving for a home, and pursuing their dreams. Have you seen the housing market right now? Student debt is a gender justice issue. There you go. Gender justice issue. See those words in succession? Gender justice issue. Watch for that. That's coming back, guaranteed. It's time for the president of the United States to act. So they want to petition Biden. Biden, you said in the 2020 election cycle that you were going to forgive student debt. Why is that such a pressing issue for women? This is why. 2/3 of student debt is held by women. And this is from 2020. It is now $1.7 trillion, but Americans carry an estimated $1.5 trillion in student loan debt. Nearly 2/3 of that amount, $929 billion is held by women. We've been printing money like the money machine go brrr. Imagine a in this case, it would be a $1.7 trillion inflationary package, if essentially is what it will come out to by forgiving that debt. Also, we can have gender justice according to Elizabeth Warren, for the little ladies who took out all of those loans, which, by the way, were made available to them because they didn't have to go and sign up for selective services. And they got it because of special stipends and Pell Grants and Title IX, name it. Why is it that there are 60%, what was it, 60-40 is the skew right now in major universities? And who's going to pay that debt? Who's gonna be on the hook for that? The American taxpayer is going to be on the hook for that. And men who had nothing to do with that will be footing that bill again for what? For absolving women of bad decisions because they're independent. Their independence and allowed them to go and get into college and to qualify that for that. And I'm not against women being intelligent. I'm not against female empowerment. I don't have any problem with the night. I don't want to overturn the 19th. I don't care about any of that. I think women ought to be able to do whatever the hell they want. But as a result, they should also be held accountable for their bad decisions. If you're going to be independent, you're going to have to own the liabilities, the accountabilities, the responsibilities for those decisions, which boggles my mind whenever I'm listening to someone like Matt Walsh or some of these guys who are like these conservatives who want to say, oh yeah, was it personal responsibility? They'll throw that line at guys left and right. But when it comes to this shit, no, the little ladies need a little bit of help. We need gender justice. That's the next step. Now, before we get going, let's move in here. So we're going to celebrate abortions now, as I was saying before, but also let's look at here. Oh, now we got to look at the economics of all of this. Abortion rates by income group. Okay. So if you go and you look at this, the percent of single pregnant women by age 15 to 44 who had an abortion in the year prior to this survey. This is from the Brookings Institute. This isn't some bullshit, Pew. Well, I mean, Pew's not really bullshit. Sometimes it is. But we're looking at a verified, these are statistics here. Okay. So if you go and you look at the income level as percent of the federal poverty line. Okay. So women who are in the 400 plus, women who are in the higher rates or making more money are the ones who are more apt to have an abortion. Now, you could say, is that causation or is that correlation? Probably both. But people who are, I'll just read you the brief of this. I'll give you the summary of this. This is from the Brookings Institute. I'm reading this from the website right now. There are wide class gaps in unintended childbearing among single women in the United States, resulting from different contraceptive and abortion choices across income groups. In this paper, we use data from the National Survey of Family Growth to estimate how sexual activity, contraceptive use, and abortion use vary across income lines. Though rates of sexual activity are comparable for all women, low-income women are less likely to use contraception and are less likely to have an abortion once pregnant. So the poorer you are, the less likely you are actually to have an abortion. We use a shift share analysis to simulate the effect of equalizing at the rates of affluent women, the use of contraception, and abortion services across income groups. We find that equalizing contraceptive use reduces the ratio of unintended births between affluent and poor women by half, and that equalizing abortion rates reduces the ratio by 1/3. Now, there are large and widening gaps in rates of unintended childbearing between Americans on different rungs of the income ladder. A poor woman is more than 5 times as likely as an affluent woman to have an unintended birth, meaning poor women are 5 times more likely to actually have the kid. Since unintended childbearing is associated with higher rates of poverty, less family stability, and worse outcomes for children, these gaps further entrench inequality. So it's all about equality, of course, right? Closing gaps of unintended childbearing is therefore important for greater equality and opportunity. What does that sound like to you? That sounds like we should protect abortion so that these poor women can move into higher socioeconomic strata. That's what at least the purpose anyways. But to close the gaps, we must first understand them. In most cases, a couple must take 3 steps to have a child. This is very important because Ryan talked about this yesterday. First, they got to have sex. Second, fail to use contraception or use contraception unsuccessfully. And third, decide to proceed with the pregnancy rather than have an abortion. And that's where the salient point is. Income gaps in unintended childbearing must therefore reflect gaps in sexual activity, contraceptive efficacy, and rates of abortion, or more likely, some combination of those 3. Gaining a better appreciation of the relative importance of these income gaps may assist in formulation of policies aimed at reducing unintended childbearing, especially for those with low incomes. Now, one of the things that they ignore in all of this, let me pull this back out. There we go. One of the things they ignore in all of this is the motivation and the incentivization of having a child or not having a child. To have the ability to do so. You want to know why? Well, here we go with the speculation once again. You want to know why that big spike is there for the 400 plus percent? Those are the highest earning women. Why is it that they have the highest incidence of abortion? Is it because they aborted and then they were able to get into that higher bracket, or were they already there and they didn't want to be inconvenienced by a kill to party, right? Did they not want to be inconvenienced with that because they wanted to maintain that? Because what happens is when you have the kid, you might drop down into a lower socioeconomic strata as a result of that. So you can make these correlation is not causation. And I love how the Brookings Institute tries to sort of rejigger the article to make it sound like, well, we need to study this stuff so we can get the poor ladies up into the higher socioeconomic strata, and we need to figure out how to do that and make sure that unintended births aren't happening. No, what these stats right here imply is exactly what we saw just right. Where is it? Right here. We should celebrate it. We should change our morality for sure, but we should change our attitudes and normalize. We should remove the stigma of having an abortion, because hey, you'll win an Emmy if you if you won an Emmy, it's because you aborted the kid, and now you're successful as a result of it, right?